You know, I have a reputation in this community of coming up with good ideas. The truth is, it's other people who come up with the ideas, and I just run with them. And Bob, who's done so much for veterans in this community and across this nation, quite frankly, contacted me, I believe, in early 2013, and said, you know, there are many veterans worth singling out and recognizing, but there's one in particular in this community that I think we should take some time and honor. And I wholeheartedly agreed. And so, you know, Bob was sort of the catalyst for this event, but more specifically for this proclamation that I'm about to read to honor George Perreault. So, George, why don't you come up here? And I'm going to read this, thank you, Bob. I'm going to read this certificate of recognition in its entirety as well. And I should preface that George has done a great deal for this community, a great deal for those who serve in our armed forces, and one proclamation could not do that justice. So we tried to touch on the biggest, the most important, and the most profound things. So, whereas George Perreault has been a resident of the Saline community since the mid-1970s, and whereas Mr. Perreault served his country honorably and with great distinction for more than 20 years, having received numerous awards and recognition. And whereas George was one of the Navy color guards guarding over President John F. Kennedy's casket in the White House Rotunda in 1963. And whereas George Perreault has been responsible for ensuring that our nation's flag is displayed year-round and prominently displayed in Saline's downtown during federal holidays. And whereas Mr. Perreault has been instrumental over the years in organizing and supporting the Saline Memorial Day Parade, as well as the ceremony at Oakwood Cemetery. And whereas George Perreault has been the chief organizer for the Washtenaw County Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 310, VFW Post 423, Support Our Troops, packing parties, which provide our nation's troops with much needed materials and personal items. And finally, George exemplifies the courage and devotion of the American serviceman and continues to support his fellow servicemen and women, both active and retired. And George clearly demonstrates the principles so eloquently articulated by President John F. Kennedy. And I quote, "As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them." Now, therefore, I, Brian Marl, Mayor of the City of Saline, on behalf of the Saline City Council and citizens of Saline, do hereby thank George Perreault for his dedicated service to the City of Saline and his unwavering support for those who protect and serve our country. And I set my hand and seal to this document on the 4th day of November, 2013. George, congratulations.